Hi everyone, welcome to Create with Chris. I'm Chris Haughey, and today we are going to be doing feathers in 5 minutes. And Lindsay is here, she's going to time me, I think.
As soon as you start, I will time you.
Okay, but I'll do a lot of talking, so it may take a little longer than 5 minutes. Want to welcome everyone. It's been a while since I've been live, hasn't it? Just Christmas and the holidays and a lot going on last month, so good to be back in the hot seat again and share some fun techniques with everyone. Lindsay is here and she is going to be answering any questions. So let us know where you're from, what's going on. We're all looking forward to spring. This week is Easter, so wishing you all a blessed Easter. This is when we look forward to all the spring flowers and new life and hope, and it's just such a great week. Anybody out there, Lindsay?
We have Phyllis Higgins is here.
Hi, Phyllis.
Harry Comstock. And then we have Cheryl joining us. And there are some other people watching. They're just being quiet.
Okay, welcome everyone. So as we get started today, if you have any questions, please let me know. This is a request that we had from a customer from another live we did. So if you have any suggestions or things that you want me to address, I appreciate it, and it gives us good content for future videos as well. So how are we doing on this? Anything going on?
So Stacy Stamper from Florida just joined us.
Hi, Stacy from sunny Florida. I know here in Ohio, it's spring one day and winter the next day.
It was beautiful yesterday. It was in the 70s.
It was in the 70s yesterday, and I was standing at my kitchen looking out the window, and I saw all these white snowflakes falling, and I thought, what the heck? You know, it's spring. It's not supposed to be snowing. It was the little tiny petals off of one of our blooming trees, and it looked like a blizzard outside. It was really amazing.
So, but now today it's cold.
Yeah, cold and dreary and drizzly, and it's a good day to be inside painting, right?
All right, you ready to get started?
I am ready to get started.
All right.
Okay, so I did a couple samples up last night of these feathers, and I was totally impressed at how quickly they painted up. I think you will be too. I only used a couple brushes. Actually, I used 3 brushes. My incredible comb, and I know that's kind of hard to see, but it has all of these little cutouts in it, which makes it, some people call it a rake brush.
There you go.
Okay,
Yep.
some people call it a rake or a comb. Does the same thing. This is a filbert shape, which means it's rounded. They also come flat. I've tried different ones. When I had this one created, I preferred the rounded because it gives me softer edges. If you have a square, sometimes I have difficulty with stop and start lines. So having the rounded edges just gives me a little more freedom on the stop and start. I can blend it in easier, and it doesn't have those sharp edges. I'm using my 18-aught script liner, and this is our brand new 3/8 inch angle. And my angles are just a little bit longer. People have asked about the length of the angles. The extra added length will provide a longer stroke, more continuity, less start and stop places. And you know, when you get that shader brush or the angle loaded just perfectly and you're on a good roll, it's nice to be able to have that extra mileage before you have to reload and blend it in. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And I have prepped, are we good on here placement wise? All I've done is base coated this with, and I use the black chalk paint. I like to use the chalk paint for base coats because it covers so easily. I don't have to worry about prepping or priming the surface. It's an all-in-one paint. All right, so to do the feather, first thing we're going to do is paint that center. Is that a quill?
I believe so.
Oh, she's looking at her watch.
I'm getting ready to start the timer.
Okay, well, let me paint out here.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just going to start out with white, and this is slate gray. And I did a couple samples last night, different colors. So it's the same technique for any color. You can actually even use different colors, like if you wanted to do is it variegated feather, where it changes color all the way up. So the first thing I'm doing is loading my Epic script liner with slate gray, and we're just going to go boom.
I have started your timer.
Okay.
No
I told her
pressure.
it may take a little longer because I'm going to be talking. I am loading my, can you see this? I'm loading my incredible comb with slate gray. And when you load your brush, look at the bristles, because what you see is what you get. If it's all solid, you're going to get all solid strokes. Can you see the difference between that? Give me some extra time, Lindsay, for talking. Okay, so I want to make sure that it's split apart, and you can push your brush down and kind of fan it out, because that will not hurt the brush. It's made to take a lot of pressure and maintain. The bristles are excellent. So it's okay to really push it down and fan it out. Now I'm loading a fair amount of water in here because I want it to be fluid enough to apply the paint. And I'm just going to start on this right here at the center of the quill and just pull it out. And when it starts to thin out like that, I'm going to reload, just reload and smoosh it out and just keep going. And I don't want those little divots in the center, so I'm just going to start at that quill and pull it out. And you can see that feather shape. Does not have to be perfect. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm just pulling it up and around. I mean, that looks pretty good just by itself, right?
And that was less than a minute.
See,
Yeah.
5 minutes. I think this is like a 3-minute
Yeah.
feather, actually. So I do want to dry this, because if I put paint over top of this, it's just going to mix in. And I want to really maintain those little thin, wispy lines. Okay, and I want to address this. Even though my brush was loaded a little bit heavy and the bristles did not spread out, and you can see the difference between heavy load and a thinner load, I kind of like that. I think that looks...
And honestly, as a bird owner, my bird's feathers, when he drops his tail feathers, they do clump. They do have clumps. So like that kind of looks like a clump of feathers.
Okay, this is from an expert. I don't know, unless it's really solid, I don't think you can go wrong.
No. I mean, it looks like it's same color and everything, Chris, is my bird's feathers. So
What is your bird?
He's an African gray parrot.
Okay.
So.
When we're finished, we'll frame this and she can hang
Hanging in his cage.
I am just loading white on here. And if you're friends with white, you know that when white is applied, it always goes on much stronger. As it dries, it diminishes a little bit in its saturation. My brush is really heavy with water, so I'm just going to pull a touch of that out. And I'm going to go back and make sure those bristles are nice and separated. And you can see what I did. I just push it down, fan them out, and look at that beautiful. All right. So I can go a couple ways. I'm going to make you dizzy. I'm going to start at the tips and pull it in. I'm not liking the way that looks, so I'm going to go back and go the other direction. Yeah, I like that better. I just want to get that bright on the tips. All right, we're getting good on that. I'm going to pull it around this way. This side looks better than the other side. I don't know why, but I'm okay with that. Just want to fix this right here. So if I don't like some of this, I can just go back with black. In fact, I'll do that right now so you can see what I'm talking about. I started out way too far on this white. Just going to pick up a smidge of that black. I'm just going to basically erase some of those feathers.
It's like it never even happened.
Yeah, there's nothing that can't be fixed. I know some of you think, but no, there's nothing that can't be fixed. So if I want to enhance this feather a little bit more, I can make it brighter, but I'm loading my Epic script liner and I'm going to add that little detail. And this is, to me, what makes the difference. I'm just going to start pulling in some of those little details. And if I can't get my longer strokes, I just need more moisture. The Epic script liner is longer than a liner, shorter than a script, so I have perfect control. But I like these little wispy ends on my feather. And I can just really define those and pull them out. And it also helps to hone in the shape of my feather. And over here where it looked like a little bit messy, I can just go in and I'm just using that kind of curve of my wrist to let those little ends kind of pull up in there. And I can reshape it just a little bit, more moisture. And I'm going to have kind of a pointy tip on this. And then to add a little more down here, I'm going to start out with that gray, just to add some little. Does your bird have these little things down here, Lindsay?
Yes.
Those are the little hairs in the morning that you wake up and they're kind of scary. Okay. Now I'm thinking it looks a little bit sparse in the center, so I can just go back, add a little more to fill in those little areas. It doesn't matter, but now I know the shape of my feather. I can just really kind of fill that in and make it look so nice.
The big fluffy feather.
It is a big fluffy feather. I'm going back with that black. I'm just kind of pulling that in. If you do your hair, it's reverse highlighting. It's kind of like that. And I think I'm going to go back in with a little more white. You just play around with it. It's kind of gray here. So I'm just going to pull that in, pull that in. If your paint skips and you get little short strokes, you just need to reload with a little more moisture. So my little center quill area, just going to go back and strengthen that. I can't talk when I'm lining. Give it a little quick dry here.
It's funny you said that because Jen was using her liner last week and she said, Lindsay, you need to talk, I'm doing this.
Yeah. So it's a little uneven here where those different sections are. I can go back with a touch of that gray and I can just float on there. Whoa, just a touch. Now that's a little bit too heavy, so instead of wiping it off, I just loaded my brush with water. Just going to go back and pull that paint out. And I think I'm going to go into a little bit of that black on this side. See if I like that better. I think I like that better. That shows up better, doesn't it, Lindsay?
Yes.
Okay. Only thing with black, you just need to know that it's just very strong. And all I have to do is just back off on the strength. And I wanted to go back in where that gray was and just strengthen that up just a little bit more. And look how I can sharpen that center quill. It was kind of obscure. Is that a good word? And I can just hone in on that. Ooh, that looks pretty. And this little quill, just going to pull some little highlights on that. Maybe add some little highlights down here. These are kind of random down here at the base. There's no, I know they kind of go in and out and all around. And you can play around. This is a part I enjoy. Just adding a little more highlight, little fussing. I always say you don't need to fuss a lot painting the feather, but when you're finished, take a look at it. And this is where it's fun to go back in. See this little area here where they kind of dead end? I can go back and just really ramp that up, blend those together, get that brush loaded correctly. Here it's just a little bit thin. I think that's where I pulled that black back in. So I'm just going to go in and pull some of those out. There's what we want, those little wispy lines. If it's too heavy, your finger's a great smudge to soften that up. If it's too heavy, I can go back in and just tone it down. You know, there's no wrong. It's so easy to go back and forth and play with this. But wow, what a good looking feather.
So Judy from Alaska, good morning. That's got to be early there.
Oh my goodness.
You make it look so easy. Would this be the same method you use for a beard?
Yes, this makes a beautiful Santa beard. And you can pull it straight, or you can do the little wave, or you can flip it up and do a little curve. You want to do another feather?
Sure.
Okay, I wanted to do a couple different kinds. This one has a little bit of curve on the feather. And this one you can probably time me, Lindsay.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. Let me get my stopwatch back on.
Okay. I'm going to do kind of a S shape. So think about and I'm losing my curve here. Okay, this is like up and out, whoops.
I'm pretty sure when you're talking about the beards, I'm pretty sure there's a video on our YouTube channel about that covers that.
This would make good oats too. Okay, kind of got a little crazy on that side, but hey, we know we can fix it, right? Just going to give that a little bit of a dry and go back in with, actually, I'll do a little bit of black on that one right there. Nobody will ever know. When I do my videos at home, I edit this kind of stuff out, so. Okay.
that Santa spoon would be the good one. Judy says it's 6:15 in the morning in Alaska.
Oh my goodness, you are an early riser.
Judy, I'm putting a link in the chat. There is a video that we did last year on a Santa spoon where Chris covers the beard. And I believe you did it with the comb brush, didn't you, Chris?
I'm pretty sure I did, yeah.
But that would help too.
Am I going off camera?
No, you're fine.
Okay. I find myself, I keep moving around here. I think the biggest trick on this part of it is just having the brush loaded correctly, because I'm going to do a lot of strokes before I have to reload. And if I can only get one or two, I don't have enough moisture in my brush. And this is the part I kind of wasn't happy with. So I can go in here and just wispy that up. The paint needs to just roll off the brush. There we go. And every time I get to this one spot, it doesn't roll very well. Just going to go back and touch this up a little bit. Get rid of some of that in there. Don't worry about when you first start out, if it looks rough, it's okay. By the time you add a couple layers, this is going to look gorgeous. Add a little bit of shading in there. Let me go with. And I'm using my 3/8 inch angle and this black, just to really fine tune that center vein out. Not a vein, what is it?
Quill?
Quill, thank you. A little bit of paint makes a big difference. That's what we're going for right here. A little dark here, so I'm just going to feather it out. You get that. And then I can go back in with just a touch of white. I probably should put my glasses on. It would help a lot. How easy that is.
And that was a 5-minute.
Was that 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I can play around a little bit more. Oh, we didn't do this little. I think adding down here, just that little bit of odd feathers. I think that adds so much detail. A little bit of gray. I don't want them just white. Are your bird's feathers darker down here? They have dark roots?
His feathers are mainly gray and like a light gray, but he's got red tips. He's scarlet and gray, so.
High state bird.
He is.
And then just for fun.
Mike says this looks like such a relaxing technique.
You know, I would encourage you to play around with it. Maybe add just a little bit of color to it. if you're just doing a single feather, you can kind of add some, I put little dip dots around it. I thought that kind of frillied it up a little bit. Sometimes those little dip dots add just a little hint of sparkle, a little bit of charm, a little more interest.
And also, if you've never used a comb brush, this would be a good way to learn how to use a comb, because I've never used a comb, and I feel like this would be a easy way to learn that.
It is a great way to get a handle on the comb. If you can do this, you can do a Santa beard. You know, just fluff it out, a little gnome beard. It's great for foliage. It's great for grasses. It's great. I did do a video on the comb by itself. I think it's on my YouTube channel. Play around with it. I was wondering, and I didn't do this last night, but should I do it today? I don't know. I'm just picking up a little bit of Snow White. So some feathers are more solid. We can just do this and add just a hint of edging on there. So if you want a more solid feather, look at that. I mean, gosh, that looks great too. So there you are, a 5-minute feather. All I did was use my incredible comb, the angle, and the liner brush, Epic Script Liner. And I hope you can play around with these and have some fun and learn how to use the comb brush. I know a lot of people have a rake or a comb brush and just not real sure how to use it. It's not a go-to brush for regular stroke work, but to add those little wispy lines and a lot of interest and little delicate details, this is truly a great brush to use.
Did you not bring the teal one over?
I did. It's on this
side. I like the teal one.
I did do one in Stormy and what's the new teal?
Is it
something
Mystic?
Mystic.
We don't have them over here. Stormy and
I don't know. It might have been.
I don't have them memorized yet.
It might have been, well, a pretty teal. It's not the Mystic teal. I was thinking it was mermaid.
Dragon teal?
Dragon teal.
Yeah.
There you go. So I was playing around last night trying to see if I could do small feathers, big feathers. One brush is really very versatile. And the length of the size of the feathers just determined by the length of the stroke. Not rocket science. Just very simple. Any questions?
Glennis, it's pretty.
Thank you. Thank you, Glennis.
Love the technique, Lois.
You know, we're always looking for something different to do. I think these would be really cute, just kind of a single feather. Maybe you could, just do a little frame or
note cards.
Note cards.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, Lindsay. Absolutely.
And again, Chris touched on it earlier. If there's any techniques or anything like that that you would like, if you have questions on, drop us a line and we can maybe touch on them in future videos for you. So
sometimes it's fun just to do a small technique, and that way it kind of, when you get a whole project, you get overloaded. And with one small technique, you can think on that and play with that and hone in on it, practice it, and then you've got another skill to add to it's another feather in your cap. Okay, enough of that.
We're back.
So we have this week on sale. Is it the Farmer and the Dell?
The Farmer and the Deal.
Farmer and the Deal.
Yeah, see what we did there.
We're really
corny this week.
The Farmer and the Deal. Corny. Get it? Okay. So make sure you check that out. If you have not checked out the other videos on our YouTube channel, please do so and subscribe, and that way you won't miss out on upcoming videos. If you miss any of the lives, they're always available on our YouTube channel, so you don't miss out.
And that's a good point to make. From what I understand, Facebook is getting rid of lives. They don't allow them to stay on for an extended period of time. So don't fret. If there's a video that you have Facebook, they're always going to be on our YouTube channel because there is a live section. So on anything that's covered on a live video, either whether it's Chris or it's myself and Jen, it will be in the live section on our YouTube channel.
And that's a great reference. And you can go in and hit favorite. If you subscribe, then you won't miss out on any of the videos. So take advantage of that. It's a great learning tool.
Phyllis said to tuck those in a journal, the feathers. Or Stacy said, now this is a good point, sympathy cards, since there's a lot of symbolism with feathers.
Oh, what a thoughtful
good
gift.
ideas.
Yeah, that would be very thoughtful.
Really quick before we go, let me pop some graphics up here. So feathers got us thinking of chickens, Chris's favorite animal. And her latest design is Egg Factory.
Do you have a video?
I have a graphic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm terrified of chickens. So
yeah, we told on you last week.
Yeah.
Like it's your favorite animal. And we told the Georgia story about the chickens.
It's traumatic.
But this is her latest design. It is available on our website. It's on a new surface of the scallop breadboard, which is a brand new surface as of last week.
And I did add I have my grandma's button box, and I have all these buttons, and I thought it would be fun to add something dimensional to the pieces. And that's a big trend right now, is adding dimension. So adding the little buttons on it and the rhabdo jute twine, I can't talk today, jute twine and the little bow at the top. To me, it just dresses it up quite a bit.
And then one more thing, we have a new pattern on the website, a snail's tail. Yeah, I said that right. Which is brand new as of yesterday. And there will be an accompanying video coming out Thursday on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, don't miss that. There's some fun techniques in that, and I was in the mood for spring. So if you didn't catch the checkerboard blooms, thank you. This was a different piece that I thought would be fun to do, and the mason jar, the tag, and the frame are all dimensional. And by adding the mason jar on there, it gave me the opportunity to wrap some jute around it and add some ribbon and tie the tag on. And again, layered pieces are so trendy, but here's the best part. I didn't have to try to get the jar traced on and perfect, because I added the laser piece of the jar, and I knew my shape was going to be spot on. So this is a really great way to add dimension, and you're going to look really good because it's perfectly on there. And I use the doily method, and I've done a lot of lace and doilies. So easy, so very easy. So make sure you check that out.
And that one does have a video on YouTube.
Yes, we have that as well. So anything else? Keep your eye out. We've got some great stuff coming on later this week.
Pay attention tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, yeah.
Yes.
Keep your feelers out for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Jen and Lindsay, speaking of tomorrow,
yeah.
Jen and Lindsay will do their live. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they've got it all set up.
It's a different thing that we're doing tomorrow. It's something we're kind of piecing together something. So.
Well, you know it's going to be good. They're going to have fun. So make sure you don't miss out on that.
And that'll be 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. We'll be here, but that wasn't what I was talking about paying attention tomorrow. But check your email tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Something good going on tomorrow. So check that out, and then even something better with Jen and Lindsay.
Yeah.
So, all righty. Well, I think that wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to our next painting adventure together. And remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. See you next time. Bye-bye.